if you want to look at the concentration of economic, financial, technological, and military power, you have to focus on the United States and on China. The European Union is the stupid continent. It is. I was talking to the president of Mexico. Then I were visiting him some months ago in Mexico City, and he's a comrade, he's a friend, and he's the president of Mexico, right? So he was telling me with pain in his heart that he's very pro-European. He's culturally very close to Europe. He's under the belly of the beast, the United States, and he trades with China. And he says he was asking me for some sources of hope that Europe will stop being irrelevant. And I couldn't provide him with any, because we are deindustrializing. We've missed the next industrial revolution. So green tech and big tech, gone. We have nothing by which to compete with either the United States or China. And increasingly, we are stagnating and proving and reconfirming my allegation that it is a stupid and irrelevant continent. China? Significant. Russia? More significant than the Telegraph, the Times, and the Guardian would like to present it as. Because, there is this tendency to say that the Russian economy is only the size of Spain. Well, that's true if you measure it in terms of dollars. But the people in Russia don't use dollars. They use rubles. And so it's not a question of how many dollars do they have by which to buy bullets. The question is how many rubles they have with which to buy Russian bullets. And they have quite a few of those. But there is no dynamism. It is shrinking demographically. There is emigration from Russia, not just now because of this, ever since the Soviet Union collapsed. The main concern is the new Cold War that Donald Trump started against China. And we had this discussion back in when was it, in October, because it's part of chapter 6 of my book. I was puzzled by why would Trump start a Cold War against China. You remember, it started when he banned a telecommunications company, Chinese one, Huawei, from functioning in the United States. And then he banned another one, ZTE. And then another one, and then he introduced serious tariffs on aluminium exports and so on. And of course, maybe one could say, that's Trump, what do you expect? He's a madman. But then Joe Biden gets elected. And instead of reversing this Cold War against China, he turbocharged it. He went, as the Australians say, apeshit. Full on. He introduced a bill by which he banned all sales of advanced microchips to China. This is like saying to Beijing, we will do whatever we can to prevent you from becoming an technologically advanced country. That's an economic war. A declaration of economic war. So I was puzzled by that, and I was asking myself, why would they do that? If you ask American diplomats, politicians, media people, they say, Taiwan. Come on, pull another one. Why is Taiwan significant? Because they want to invade it. Yes, they wanted to invade it in 1950, in 1960, in 1970, when Bill Clinton was doing his utmost to induct China into the World Trade Organization, and all the iPhones were being produced in Shenzhen, and Shanghai, and so on. They wanted to invade Taiwan back then. They claimed it to be their own. So that can't be the reason. That didn't change. And then when they tell me but they are spying on us. What? The Americans are complaining that somebody is spying on them? The NSA is spying on all of us. Every single one of us, including Sunak. They know what he says better than he does because he forgets very easily. Right? So it can't be that. So, and you know what my explanation is. I told you last time, but these people were not there. China is the only country that has developed this new form of capital, which I call cloud capital, which is the part of capital which, when it accumulates, bestows upon its owner the most power. It's the capital that lives inside your phone, the algorithmic AI-driven capital, which is not new. It's been happening now for 10, 15 years. If you think about it, there is no British or European competitor to Google, to Facebook, to Amazon.com, to Uber, to Airbnb, to any of these platforms. None. No British, no German, no French, no Indian competitor to them. China has a bigger and better version of each one of them in China. And not only that, but there is an application called WeChat that belongs to Tencent, which, imagine an application, we don't have it here in Europe, or in Britain if you don't want to be considered European. I don't know why you wouldn't, but maybe you don't. You don't have an app that allows you to watch movies like Netflix, to call a cab like Uber, to send tweets, to do that, and on top of that, to send money, to pay, to make payments for free to anyone in the world. For free, no fee, no banking fee attached. That app doesn't exist in the West. The Chinese have it. So, to the extent that the United States remains hegemonic because they have the monopoly of all payment systems. When you pay anybody, even within Britain, that payment finds its way through to the other person, to the person to whom you are making the payment, through a system totally controlled by the United States. If I were in the Pentagon, I would not be worried about the developments on the military terrain. What I would be worried about are the developments on the fintech, the financial technology terrain, because the Chinese, with WeChat, and in particular, something I haven't mentioned yet, the digital currency of the Central Bank of China, they are creating circumstances that can easily undermine the monopoly that the dollar has on international transactions. Because all the power of the Americans, of the United States, this whole panoply of force is based on the US dollar. The American economy is becoming a smaller and smaller percentage of the world economy. The American economy is highly in the red. They have a huge trade huge trade deficit since 1968. They have a huge budget deficit, 6.5% every year, budget deficit. So they need other people's money. They are the only empire in the history of humanity who are growing stronger the more they are in the red. What allows them to do that is that they print the world's currency, the dollar. So if you are a capitalist, a German capitalist, a Chinese capitalist to this day, right? You need to sell to the Americans in order to make your own profits. So you sell to the Americans buy in dollars, they have a deficit, and you get dollars. So you're a Chinese capitalist in Shanghai or in Frankfurt, and you have all these dollars. So what do you do with these dollars? You cannot spend them in Germany or in China, so you take them to Wall Street, and you invest them in real estate, in shares, primarily in American debt. So you're financing the American government to build the armies and to have the aircraft carriers in the East. So that is the nexus around which American power revolves, the dollar. The Chinese threaten that because now, if you are a capitalist, if you are a moneybags, if you are Saudi Arabian, lots and lots of billions, somebody from Abu Dhabi, an Indonesian magnate, a Malaysian magnate, you are really thinking twice about putting all your eggs in the dollar basket. Why? Because you've seen that the Americans just confiscated 400 billion of dollars of Russian money. I'm not going to pass judgment on that. This is not a discussion of whether they should have done it or not. It's a fact, they did it. So if you are a sheikh from Dubai, or a stinking rich, usually bastard, from Indonesia, right? Because to be stinking rich in Indonesia, you can't be a good person, right? Or in Greece, for that matter. And you have all these billions. You think, well, they got pissed off with Putin's men and they took their money. What about me? I'm not the best guy in the world. Maybe they will get pissed off with me tomorrow. So you're not going to put all your money in the Chinese digital currency, but you will put some of it in there, just to, to plan B, in case the Americans come. And that is a clear and present danger for American hegemony. That is why, and here's my explanation, you have a new Cold War. The Americans are attacking the technological evolution of Chinese fintech, the combination of big tech and the financial sector, because they want to kill this payment system from, before it grows up and challenges the American dollars, the American dollar digital system.
What do you guys think? Do you think China or the BRICS can ever replace the dollars? Please leave your comment below. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you for making it this far. If you like this video, you might want to share it with a like-minded friend. Thank you, and as always, stay blessed.